Hello, I'm Ranger Diver Pro Staffer Steve Graff, and you're tuned in to Tackle Talk Live, along with Kevin Jean, V&M General Manager. We are sitting here live on the banks of Sibley Lake in Natchitoches, Louisiana, and we are here to bring you Tackle Talk Live, a show dedicated to you, an angler, to make you a better angler. And this show will do that, but you got to pay attention. And today's guest is one of those guys. You will learn something from him today with Ken.
Yes, Ken is a great fisherman, great angler, but he's just a great teacher.
Yeah.
He does a great job of, on his YouTube series and on his social media of teaching anglers the do's and don'ts and, how to fish and this, that, and the other techniques. But right. Ken's a great guy and does a great job. We're going to get a lot of great information from him.
And his last name, by the way, is Smith. Ken Smith, KenSmithFishing.com. You can go in there. He's got, like Kevin's alluded to, he's got great information. Got a website. He does great stuff with Facebook, YouTube. I look at a lot of his stuff, and you'll learn a lot of information about whether it's fishing, products, experiments
Boats,
he's running,
graphs,
different experiments he runs from time to time just to, test things out. So this guy today, we love having Ken on. He's a great guest and looking forward to having him on. Also, we got some BASS news. We'll wrap up the ABA Open Series, which has wrapped up its final event, except for the two-day championship, which will be taking place in September 12th and 13th on Texoma. And so we'll wrap up the last event for that. And I'll go ahead and tell you now, I did horrible, but I was just happy I caught a fish. I was just tickled to death because it was rough. Let me just go ahead and tell you now. And I think Ken's going to tell you how bad it's been at Rayburn, but we'll see what his opinion is. Also, Kevin, we got, let's see here. We got a question of the day we'll talk about with Ken.
We're going to break down the BASS Open that's coming up at Sam Rayburn in less than a month.
Yeah.
Just trying to kind of get Ken's thoughts on that. We kind of talked a little bit about it last week of how we thought it was going to play out. Several things can play the beginning of September on Sam Rayburn, and there will be a lot of guys trying to unlock the lake. And I haven't even asked Ken if he's fishing that event yet or not, so we'll have to bring that up. But we're going to break that event down. Also, last week was the last FLW regular season event of the year. We'll kind of talk about that, but a lot of topics to get into today for us to dive into.
And one of the topics that we're going to talk about with Ken today is the heat, how it's affecting the fishing on any body of water you're at. Because I'm telling you right now, this last weekend was maybe one of the hottest 3 days I've ever had back to back to back of fishing, 100+ degree days every day. It was really brutal, and it does affect the fishing, probably the fishermen more than it does the fish. But anyway, we'll get to Ken here in just a minute. Real quick though, we got three sponsors: that the Boat Shop, 3J's 4-Way, and Pride Rods. Kevin's going to tell you about the Boat Shop.
The Boat Shop, located at 2410 Sanford Avenue in Shreveport, Louisiana. Mr. Raymond Kidd and his staff take great pride in keeping your boat and motor performing at its best. A certified Yamaha dealer and Garmin dealer and home of the best motor on the market today, the Yamaha Show. Also, Mr. Raymond Kidd and them have a great line of aluminum boats, the Sea Arc, which also just released their new bass fishing edition.
Yes.
So you need to stop by and check it out. They're at the Boat Shop. A full support Garmin dealer, from trolling motors to all of your units. So for you guys looking for somebody to work on your Garmin trolling motors, because not many people do, the Boat Shop can take care of all your needs with that and any of your units. So stop by 2410 Sanford Avenue and let the Boat Shop take care of all your boating needs. Give them a call at 318-402-0399 or go to the ShreveportBoatShop.com.
And also, Kevin, I ain't told you this past weekend when I was at Sam Rayburn, several of you guys that watch our show came up to me. A couple of you I saw at the stores, saw a couple of the guys at a restaurant, saw some guys at the weigh-in. Thank you for recognizing the show and coming up and saying, hey, we really appreciate Tackle Talk Live. I was really surprised and overwhelmed with a lot of the comments we got. And I hadn't even told Kevin that yet, but probably had 5 or 6 people through the ABA tournaments over at Sam Rayburn this past weekend that made comments about the show. And again, we thank you. We appreciate you watching. Continue to spread the word for us, because we can't have too many. We'd love to have as many as we can possibly get. So, but we do appreciate you. Real quick, 3J's 4-Way, Cypress and the Outdoors. Guys, if you're in this region, if you're in the Natchitoches region area, go to Cypress and the Outdoors, 3J's 4-Way, whether you want lunch, whether you need hunting supplies, if you need fishing supplies, they've got it. John Abraham and the gang down there at 3J's 4-Way have everything you need for a day on the water or a day in the woods. And dove season's coming up, guys. So if you need ammo, you need shotgun shells, if you need a new shotgun to take for opening day, make sure, you need your license, which, by the way, make sure you got your license.
Yes.
You Texas guys, your license runs out here at the end of this month.
End of this month.
August the 30th is the end of the month, so get your new license. And you can order them right now. You can either actually go online right now in Texas and order those online. I'll be ordering mine because I fish in Texas a lot, so I need to go ahead and renew mine ASAP. But if you need a license for Louisiana, go to 3J's 4-Way. And again, make sure you check out the deli. Got Crispitos, meat pies, fried chicken.
The goods.
Yes,
the goods.
Lunches, they got whatever you need, fountain drinks, whatever. So make sure you check it out. Or give them a call at 318-238-HUNT. That's 318-238-HUNT. And again, check that out. Cypress and the Outdoors, located inside 3J's 4-Way.
And our newest sponsor to add to the list, Pride Rods, American-made and custom-built here in Montgomery, Texas. The finest rods ever made by Mr. Billy Kistler, constructed with the finest North Fork composite blank by Mr. Gary Loomis. They carry all of your freshwater and saltwater applications for spinning and casting rods. Pride Rods, they definitely pass the eye test, but they surpass the test of performance even more. Stop by your local tackle store and pick one up, or simply ask about Pride Rods. You can also go online at priderods.com or call 832-418-6040 or 936-697-4149.
And on the phone with us, the myth, the man, the legend himself, Brother Ken Smith. Ken, how you doing, buddy?
Legendary Bigfoot hunter, Ken Smith.
Yeah, that's my kind of guy right there. Bigfoot is real.
Just because you spend a lot of time in the woods at night by yourself, you can call that Bigfoot hunting, right?
Yeah, I grew up in East Texas up there in Sulphur Bottom Swamp, so yeah, I know about Bigfoot sightings. But anyway,
I'm good, guys. How are y'all?
We're doing great. Did you, Mr. Ken? Was you able to spend any time on the water this past weekend?
You know, I spent a lot of time. We were down. We've been going a week in Dallas and a week at the lake, and so I was out 3 or 4 days last week on Rayburn, and it's not great. I'll tell you, it's pretty tough right now. I mean,
yeah.
Anytime you see terms being won on Rayburn with something in the teens, it's tough.
Well, I mean, not only in the teens, you had 2 19-pound bags in the ABA on Saturday, and then third place was 14 pounds.
Yep.
That is definitely unheard of, and you can tell that the lake is definitely fishing pretty tough right now. So, getting into that, kind of give us your. We know you do a fishing report with your YouTube blog every week or ever so often. And kind of give us right now your fishing report and how you would break down the lake.
Well, the bites I'm finding are on wood deep. You can go into there's a ton of hydrilla. Not deep hydrilla, let's call it 6 or 7 foot edge, and then tapering out to 10 or 11 feet in the mid lake. So from the 147 bridge, pretty much down to around Fire Tower, there's good grass on both sides of the lake. And I can get some bites flipping that grass, but they're 12 to 15 inches. Now that wasn't the case 2 months ago, but I have yet to stick for better fish. It's interesting. A few months ago, if you went to the backs of those pockets that had hydrilla in them, you would spook big threadfin shad out of there.
Yeah.
And there were good bites in those pockets. But those threadfin have backed out, and I have not seen a quality fish in the grass since then.
Yeah, and I was over there as well this past weekend, Ken, fishing the ABA. And in my scouting, I went to the backs because I had heard that there was some fish in the back 2 weeks earlier. And it was just absolutely dead water. It was a dead zone. There was no activity, no nothing. It was just like fishing dead water. So I went out on the main lake. I actually went to the bridge, and I don't mind saying I had some fish I thought located on the bridge and shook 8 or 9 fish on Friday with a big worm, and I felt good. And I said, okay, I feel good about this. Yep. Could not buy that bridge bite on Saturday. They just I don't know what in 24 hours what can change. but something changed, and I couldn't figure out what else to do. I could not get the bites I got the day before.
You know, my experience around that bridge is, and we don't talk about it on Rayburn very much, but the more current, the better, whether it's them generating, them pulling, or just wind current.
I agree.
And if you'll notice, these days when there's no fish getting caught, it's going dead slack calm. I mean, I came home, I come across the water Saturday evening, and it was glass. It was unbelievable. You could have water skied on the main lake. Yeah. And when that happens, Rayburn, unless you're flipping the grass, Rayburn gets really tough, as do most lakes, by the way.
Yeah.
You're right.
No, it does. And it's, it's going to be, I think it's going to be set up to be a little tougher for these guys coming up in the Bass Open the 1st of September. And we haven't even talked to you about this, Ken. Are you fishing that event?
I'm not.
Okay,
no.
You're not. Okay. Well, we started talking about it last week, kind of giving our takes on what it would take. And I think it's setting up now with the hydrilla coming back, and you hear the frog fishing starting to get a little better, or was okay. And of course, you've always got your deep ledges and your brush piles. I think it's setting up really so people can go do what they want to do. It's going to really spread out.
It should, and you've also got grass. Now, I don't spend much time over there, but you've got grass up the ash arm as well. So,
very good grass.
Yeah, I think it's going to spread out. It's so much is going to be dependent upon what happens in the weather between now and when those guys get here. If it cools down at all, there could be just a really great swim jig, square bill bite over the top of that 8 and 10 foot grass, but not if the water's as hot as it is right now. I just don't see that happening.
Well, and that's typically a time too, because let's face it, right before dove season opens up, that first Saturday in September, there's always a front that pushes the doves out. And so we could have a couple of fronts coming through by that second week in September that might change the bite and make things a little bit better for these guys than what it is right now.
Yeah, and also if you can catch a cloudy, rainy day, there already is a little bit of bite around that grass. I had a buddy go out the other day and catch a bunch of fish on a spinnerbait. Just old school, pick up a half-ounce spinnerbait and go down a grass edge. And he had a couple of 4-pounders. So a lot of it's dependent upon the weather. Worst conditions are hot and flat. Anything better than that, and the fishing starts picking up.
Ken, I'm going to ask your opinion on that, because used to, you could pick up a blade and go down the bank with a spinnerbait and catch fish. They may be 12, 13 inches, but you could go catch fish. What has happened to spinnerbait fish? It's like they just don't want to hit a blade much anymore.
Yeah, it's funny. You say that. I still experience a pretty good spinnerbait bite on occasion. But, I mean, we all grew up fishing farm ponds. You go to a farm pond today and catch 30 fish on a frog and go back tomorrow and catch 10, and day 3 you might not get a bite on it. And I think there's just some of that going on. Yeah. We've talked about that before. It's just harder and harder to get a bite on the bank at Rayburn than it ever has been before due to fishing pressure.
Right. And we know it's a long time. I think September 10th, the Open starts. Right. But saying that, just say, give me your educated guess. And I know it's hard to do right now, but me and Steve is trying to determine whether or not it's going to take 20 pounds a day to win it. Now, my opinion, somebody's going to have a mega bag. They're going to have that 23, 20 individual tournament, 23, 24, 25-pound bag. But I don't, I think the next day they're going to have that 17, 18, maybe 16-pound bag. That's just fall fishing on Rayburn, in my opinion. What's your opinion on that?
Remind me, is the Open 2 or 3 days?
It's a 3-day.
3-day event.
Yeah, it'll take 60-plus pounds to win it. There's too many of those Open guys. I mean, look, there's a bunch of guys panicking, trying to figure out what their job is next year, right?
Yeah.
And there's too many guys that are going to spend too much time on this pond. And the one thing I will say is that when I have found fish recently, I can catch them. Matter of fact, you'll see in this week's lake report comes out tomorrow. I pull up on a deep spot and first cast, I catch a 3-pounder, and then I fool around out there and catch several more. When you find them, there's groups of them usually, unless you're, individual big fish hunt. So
right.
I think it'll take, those guys are so good. it's going to take something in the 63, 65 pound range to win the tournament.
Well,
I'd be really surprised if it doesn't.
And just my observation from this past weekend, I was there Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Some of those guys have actually already showed up and are already fishing.
Yeah, they're coming over. Yeah, they'll come over right now and fish 2 or 3, 4 days. Go back home. Right. They're already making their way over. As Ken alluded to, I mean, these guys are trying to qualify, requalify for Bassmaster.
Right.
Not liking the way the other circuits are going. They're trying. We got more and more guys trying to get in BASS. And I've heard a rumor, and I don't know. I've heard from a source that the Rayburn Open. Now, again, I haven't confirmed this yet, but it is going to set a record for the number of entries.
Yeah, and they're having live TV coverage
in this event, which I wouldn't be shocked if we set a record for. I mean, because you got all the locals that want to get in it just to get in it because it's Rayburn BASS Open, but then you got all the guys trying to qualify for the Bassmaster. So, I mean, I'm really expecting a huge turnout.
And live TV coverage from ESPN on the final day.
Well, and I believe, so this is a co-angler tournament, right?
Yeah, yes, they have co-anglers, yes.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I think Billy Klein told me the other day he's pretty far down on the waiting list. So I don't know if, are they going to cap the field or are they going to let it just blow up and make something ridiculous? I don't know the answer to that. But if there's guys on waiting list, obviously, which is interesting to me, used to be tournaments that would be more co-anglers than there would be guys on the front deck.
Exactly.
And all of these circuits are struggling to get co-anglers now.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right. Well, so it's gotten so expensive, Ken. I mean, let's be honest. It's not a poor man's game at all anymore. I mean, you got to have a little money put aside if you're gonna follow the circuit. And all right, let's hop over to Bass Champs, their championship. They've just made that announcement. They're headed to Red River, which is like their 3rd or 4th time coming to the Red River. Your thoughts? I know, Chad's catching some heat over it. A lot of guys. What is it about the Red River that they just don't like, Ken?
I don't know. I've always enjoyed. Now, I grew up in Little Rock, Arkansas, so I fished the Arkansas River. I've always greatly enjoyed river fishing. It does fish small, and it's a little bit hazardous here and there, but as long as you don't do foolish things and try to jump sandbars or, not know where the rock dikes are, I don't know. To me, it's one of those tournaments that anybody can win. I mean, look, if you brought that championship to Rayburn, they might not admit it, but half those teams have no prayer of winning.
Oh, that's exactly right. No.
Well, and that's just if y'all was to go up north or wherever you go on. I mean, your homegrown folks are going to have such an advantage. Now,
the river does tend to be an equalizer.
He's excited about going to the Red River, Steve.
Yeah.
Do you know who his partner is? Do you know who his partner is?
Who's your partner, Ken?
In Bass Champs, his partner is Kevin Lazione.
Oh, my God. Well, heck. I want to fish that one, man. Good gosh.
He's been on the river a couple of times before and has won a couple of tournaments on the Red River before. So Ken is not upset about having to go to Red River.
I'll put it this way. I'll be shocked if they're not in 3 or 4 as far as pool. They'll be in pool 3 or 4.
I giggled when I saw that come out. We had no idea. I mean, we could have been back on Texoma or, who knows where else we could have gone. But, no, we're not disappointed that it's on the river at all.
Well, me and Kevin were kicking ourselves. He sent me a text when he saw it came out. He said we should have fished Bass Champs, and because I know for me it's my home water. It's where I'm.
Oh wait, so he threw me under the bus and said he should have fished with you?
Well,
no, he's talking about me. He's talking about me.
Yeah, I'm talking about Kevin Jean, not Kevin Lazione.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
No, we had talked about fishing it and just never. The schedule didn't work out this year, and then we seen with Red River, and we was upset that we wasn't able to get in once we seen the championship come to Red River, but. I think people are going to be shocked. I know it's been just absolutely miserable the last couple of years and a couple of times that they have came over, but
it's gotten better.
The river's gotten a lot better.
It's gotten better.
It really has. So
well, and the river is a place that you will be rewarded for work. If you will go over there and drag laydowns, put brush out, you'll be rewarded for the work you do over there if you go over there and do the work. Because those, the shallow cover that can be seen is going to get hammered. It's that offshore stuff. Same thing's happening over here right now, right? I mean, you look at, Derek Mundy and the fella in the white champion. I can't think of his name right now. I mean, those guys are doing the work, putting the brush out, and they're winning the tournaments.
Yeah.
No, you're right. So Ken, does it make it a young man's sport now? I mean, is that what you have to be? You got to be 38 and younger to really compete now?
You got to have time. I think you got to have time.
I will say yes. But yeah, I mean, I certainly think. Now, on the other side of that coin, and the most dangerous guys are those college kids who have, seems like, unlimited funds from their families.
Yes.
Yeah.
I agree.
But, don't discount us old guys who, have a little evil in us that just will go out there and work hard and have some resources.
Right.
Derek's a perfect example. He's an oil field guy, and he's got, when he's off, he's out here fishing. So
yeah,
there's advantages and disadvantages to both. I think the guys our age, the three of us, generally probably adjust better than those young guys do.
Yeah.
But those young guys, I mean, I even watched it this past week with Hank Harrison, who won the college national championship down in Florida. I spent a half a day in the boat with him, and I mean, the first thing he looks at is them electronics. He wants to see the fish before he tries to catch the fish.
Yeah.
Wow.
There's no doubt about that. Those guys is all about their electronics.
It's a video game.
But when it comes down, like let's just use the Open for instance. If it was a brush pile thing, them college guys that are fishing that, they would be. I mean, because they're going to put the time in, they're going to sit there and idle every day, and maybe some days not even make a cast. But when you throw this hydrilla in the mix, that the guys with experience on fishing hydrilla, like you talked about, the swim jig over the top and then the punching, that just takes time and, figuring that out of experience with it.
Yeah.
So, that notch goes to the older fishermen in my book.
But, the learning curve on all of this, and I'm going to talk about my format here. I mean, the YouTube, the ability to go in there and say punch and grass and get 6,000 videos pull up, some of which are guys who probably don't know what they're talking about, but some of them absolutely know what they're talking about.
Right.
You can sit at home. We couldn't do that when we were 25 years old.
Right. No, you're right.
The only way I could learn was to try to talk one of the guys in my bass club and to let me get in the boat with him.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's not the case here. Or watch Roland Martin or Jimmy Houston on TV.
Right.
Yeah. No, you're right.
Ken, let's back up a little bit. Let's go back to the Bass Champs. And I'm just going to use Bass Champs as an example. You've got Texas Tournament Trail. You've got the ABA. We used to have regionals, but you got the BFL. They don't announce their championship events until after basically the season is over or you're more than halfway through your regular season. I have mixed emotions on this. Is that good or bad? Example, Kevin and I might have fished Bass Champs. Had we known they were coming to the Red River, they might have picked up another 10 or 12 teams from over in this region had they known it was coming to Red River. Your opinion on should they announce those championships earlier?
I think you just answered it then, because I think I think you give an unfair advantage to your locals when at the detriment of the other 700 teams who fished your circuit by announcing it. And look, there's two perfect examples right there. Texas Team Trail and Bass Champs have both built very successful circuits doing it completely opposite.
Right. Yeah.
But, I mean, Champs has got 4 or 5 regions that they draw, 200 probably almost on average. I think they have demonstrated that that's a model that, although we all gripe about it, we keep showing up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're right.
And Dickie and I fished multiple years where we didn't go to the championship. I have no interest in fishing the Sabine River. We didn't go.
Yeah.
But it was, here on our home water, so we fished it and just opted not to fish the championships.
My opinion is you're not going to lose your local Rayburn guys. Bass Champs has their following, and no matter where the championship's at, they want to fish Bass Champs because they want to fish for $20,000 on Rayburn or the North, the North Circuit, the East Circuit, the West Circuit. I don't think you're going to lose because you announce where your championship's at, because they want to fish those events. Now, I think you would gain people over from, like, for instance, Louisiana over here, where I think you would have gained 15, 20 more boats that fish that circuit because they want to just make the championship.
Exactly.
Yeah, my only, I'm going to call it a complaint, but I would like to see them. I mean, look, the the most fun tournament I fished in the last 10 years was Bass Champs Championship on Falcon.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
We caught 31 days the first day and 31 pounds first day, 30 pounds the second day, and got the last place check.
Yeah.
And I'd go back in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Good gosh.
Yeah.
I would love to see them go places where the fishing is just silly fun.
Yes.
But I understand, there's not a lot of those places locally, and they don't want us to drive, and I don't want to drive, to Kentucky Lake, which is a terrible example, but 7 hours to go fish a championship somewhere.
Right.
No, you're right.
And that's one of my complaints with the ABA is that they eliminated the regionals, and now so you qualify if you're in the top 10 from your division, you qualify for the nationals. So you go straight to nationals, but it's always over there. It's always in Carolinas, Florida's, Alabama. It's never brought over to Rayburn or Toledo Bend. They always seem to keep it in that region over there, and that's my biggest frustration with ABA.
Well, NFLW the same way. I haven't fished the Costas or whatever you call them the last couple of years because I'm tired of going to a regional, a championship on the other side of the Mississippi River.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
You're right.
And I've complained about it to FLW and ABA. I've written letters to them, and they don't give me much of a response at all, and I'm like, okay, well, maybe I'm not.
The only way they'll listen is when we quit showing up.
That's exactly right.
No, you're right.
That's exactly right.
Well, Ken, I know me and you visited a little bit this morning, and you're getting ready to release a new YouTube video series you got coming up that you've been working on. Tell us a little bit about what you got going on.
Well, so my experience in the YouTube world is that every YouTuber has a new boat every few years, and their first video is their walkthrough video. They say, I've got the greatest boat I've ever owned. But they never kind of walk you through how they got to that, and usually it's, I got the greatest deal I've ever gotten on a boat is actually how that video should be titled.
Correct.
So I'm in a 2-year-old Z521C with about 170 hours on my motor, and I'm thinking, well, should I buy a new boat? And I want to go boat shopping. And I have, number one, I got a bunch of buddies, right? I know a whole bunch of people. So I have the ability to borrow a bunch of different kinds of boats. So I thought, why don't I just borrow boats, some new, but I really don't want to borrow brand new boats. I want to see boats that have been fished out of. Spend the day in them, not just take them out and drive them in a circle, but take them out and fish out of them. And film the day, and at the end of the day, grade them out on a scale of 1 to 100 and say what I like and what I don't like. So I've done 3 so far. The first one will post Wednesday. And actually, the first one is on the Bass Cat Puma Hybrid, which is it's a Bass Cat cap, but it's got the old Champion 203 hull under it, which I think is a neat idea. Mm-hmm. So I've got it. It's going to be 2 videos, actually. It's so long. It's about 2 hours of me spending the day in it. And then the next week, we're doing a Champion 210 Elite. The following week will be my Ranger Z521C, because I thought it's only fair. And then the following week will be the first Phoenix that I'm going to take out.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. But no, you are right about that. Everybody, I've got the greatest boat ever. I've never seen it really broke down with every boat that's out there.
Well,
Yeah.
and I even say in the videos, nobody's going to score 100. I don't think anybody's going to score above a 90 because, every boat, not every boat, most of the quality boats have advantages and disadvantages, right? You want a super stable fishing platform, fish out of a Ranger or Skeeter.
Right.
Yeah. You want a really fast boat, get in a Bass Cat.
Right.
I've not yet seen one that's really well built, fishes great, and also is fast.
Yeah.
Now,
right.
Maybe there is one. And by the way, one of the things I did as a little bit of deep background on this set of videos is I called fiberglass shops, Toledo Fiberglass, Classic in North Texas, a fiberglass shop in Oklahoma, and a fiberglass shop in Arkansas. And I said, you guys cut boat filming for a living. What's the 3 best built bass boats right now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I asked them, what boat are you seeing the most problems with from non-impact, so just getting beat up? And it's really interesting what those, and I talk about it in the video series.
Yeah. I've actually asked Al Druitt the same exact question number one, when I was in the market for a bass boat at Toledo Fiberglass, and it was shocking some of the answers he gave me, and he gave me reasons why certain brands were better than others, and I was very impressed with his knowledge, and because again, he works on them every day. So,
yeah, yep, that's right.
Well, you have two right here that definitely be waiting for that video series to come out, because we'll definitely will be interested in that, as many people will. But Ken, we appreciate you coming on today and kind of breaking everything down.
1 second, guys. Kevin, I did catch a pretty nice one on one of your worms last week.
Well, I heard about this, but I wasn't going to drop the ball. I was going to let you do it on your video. But if you want to talk about it, I sure would love to.
I'll tell you guys, I caught the 6th biggest fish of my life. I've caught 7 fish over 10 pounds, and I caught the 6th biggest fish on my life on a wild thing last week. So
there you go.
On the video. And I got to tell you, I act like a little kid after I catch that fish. I get if you don't still get excited by it, you ought to quit doing it. And guys, I get pretty excited. It's great video footage.
Yeah,
well, I'm definitely waiting for that video footage to come out. I want to see that on a wild thing over there on Rayburn.
And 10-pounders don't come every day. So.
No.
On a wild thing on Rayburn in 16 feet of water. So and I guess what, on a piece of wood.
There you
go.
There you go. Well, Ken, I also want to tell you thank you for all the information you put out there. I thoroughly enjoy it. It's information that's valuable. It's not just somebody's opinion all the time. You do a great job with your website and your video promotions and everything that you cover. I just want to let you know how much I appreciate it, and I think I speak for a lot of anglers.
Well, I appreciate that. I get a lot of great feedback. I've only had a little tiny bit of negative feedback. But most guys, like you say, just like you said, it's. I try to shoot straight. I tell you what's working, and when it stinks, I tell you it stinks.
Well, other than putting a pretty girl in the front of the boat, that'd be the only complaint that I think most guys would have. Put somebody up there pretty beside you, that might help. But
yeah, my wife is not going to let. No, she is not interested in being on video right now.
There you go.
I understand that.
All right, Ken. Thank you, man.
Appreciate it, Mr. Ken.
Guys. Bye-bye.
All right, Ken Smith, man, we love having Ken on. He does a great job, and he's just one of those guys that got a wealth of knowledge, and he understands the bass fishing world.
He does. He understands everything about it, how it operates. But he really does on all his videos. He does his homework.
Oh, he's very
just
thorough.
Like he's talking
Yes.
about these bass boats. He's calling around and getting everybody's advice. He does his homework.
Yep.
And I just thought it was hilarious. Bass Championship is going to Red River, and he picks Kevin Lazion as his partner.
Yeah.
Now, granted, it was not that he had no idea knowing, but
he didn't have insider information.
Ken has always fished for Mr. Dickie Newberry.
Oh, yeah.
Who now is fishing the FLW Pro Circuit.
Right.
So he's not able to fish Bass Champs. So and Kevin's partner, Randy Despino,
Right.
is fishing the FLW Pro
FLW
Circuit
Tour.
as well.
Right.
So both of these two guys have came together and now fishing Bass Champs. And it just so happens to be that Kevin is probably one of the better anglers on Red River.
Yeah. He'll be a stick, and he'll be a threat to. He's got great experience on the river. Kevin's a river rat. I mean, that's what we call them around here. Guys that fish Red River, we usually call them river rats. And Kevin Lazion's one of the best. So good luck to him and Ken. They should do really well in that event.
Yes.
All right. Other fishing news. Justin Lucas. Kevin, 2 out of 3 weeks, 2 tournaments in a row.
Won the last MLF event of the year, and then just won the last FLW event of the year.
The super tournament.
The super tournament, and he's on fire. But he is one of the best guys out there with his electronics. He just is, and that's what smallmouth fishing this time of year is all about. Is the electronics and how to read them and how to use them, and he's just that good. Him and Josh Bertrand both was almost winning. Both of them was going down to the wire competing in the MLF event. And then the same thing in FLW, just because they are two of the very best with their electronics.
And this was his first experience on this particular body of water where he won the super tournament. He said, I've never been on this body of water before. Right. So to go out and win a tournament like that, electronics has to play a key role. And again, if you're good with your electronics, you just a leg up on a lot of the competition, because that's a difference maker.
And if you get somebody as good as with their electronics as he is, as Josh Bertrand is, and they had 4 days of practice for that event.
Right.
You give somebody with that knowledge of electronics on a body of water with 4 days to break it down, they're going to be tough to beat.
Yep. Next, Ron Nelson wins AOY, and Kyle Hall wins Rookie of the Year.
Ron Nelson is going to be a name that we are going to talk about for years to come. He won Rookie of the Year last year in a very tough rookie class.
This is BASS, right?
No, FLW.
FLW.
Okay. Ron, because this FLW was last week was their term of the year.
That's right.
He won Rookie of the Year last year. He just won Angler of the Year in a very tough field. And won it going, out of style. And then Kyle Hall, who is right over here from Texas, young man, early 20s. I forget how old Kyle is, but, against a very, very stout rookie class. So congratulations to Kyle on his accomplishment there as well. So the top 50, and he's going to hate me for mentioning this on here, but top 50 made the FLW championship.
Right.
Our boy, Gleason, finished 51st in points.
Are you kidding me?
Barely missed the cut on his very first year on tour to make the FLW Top 50 Championship, which you get a $10,000 check just for showing up.
Yeah.
So I hated that for him, and that one stung a little bit, but he's going to come back bigger and better next year, no doubt about that. Him and Nick missed it out. LeBrun, he missed out on it as well, but no doubt them two will come back next year with a little fire underneath them.
It takes you a little time to learn how to fish on that level. You can be a great angler, but it don't necessarily guarantee you're going to have success right out the gate. So it takes time. So both those guys, Nick and Daryl, will have success down the road.
Absolutely.
All right, the ABA Championship, ABA makeup tournament, which was this past Saturday, the 15th of August. This was again a makeup tournament. It's the final of the regular season events. We go to the 2-day in September. But Clay Phillips from Huntington, Texas, had 5 fish for 1958, and Marshall Hughes was second from Hemphill, Texas, with 1918, as we've talked about earlier. 2 19-pound bags. It dropped off immediately to another great angler that's actually won a couple of team events over there. And in the last couple of weeks, Derek Mundy had 14.98 for third. Clayton Bullware, he was fourth. It's Albert Collins' team partner from Zavala, Texas. He was fourth with 14.13. Andy Gaia from Tomball, Texas, was 13.98 for fifth. Albert Collins was sixth. He had 13.04. Danny Cherry from Jasper, Texas, was seventh with 12.03. Tommy Durham from Whitney, Texas, was eighth with 11.83. Jesse Russell from Prosper, Texas, was ninth with 12.71, and 10th place was Richard Wagnon from Jasper. He had 11.64. So again, the weights dropped off, Kevin. Dramatically, dropped off hard. There was actually 20-something zeros in this event.
What was big fish? What was big fish in that event?
Big fish for this event
was a 5-pounder.
Actually a 5.62.
Wow.
And so...
Well, a co-angler had a 7-pounder. We saw that earlier.
Just fixing to pull
co-angler had a 7-pounder.
Yeah. There was 2 7-pounders. A guy fished with me in the last event, Stephen English, finished third in this event on the co-angler side. He had a 7.58, but he had a total for 3 fish for 11.10, and there was a 7.23 caught by Brandon Bigno. So from...
Congratulations to Clay Phillips. We had Clay on a month or two ago after he won. It might have been an ABA. I forget. Yeah. No, he won an Outlaw event. He won an Outlaw Outdoors event.
Yep.
Right now, the 2 hottest sticks on Rayburn, and I no disrespect to anybody, but just been winning the most this summer, Clay Phillips and Derek Mundy.
Yeah.
They are, and Derek finished third in this event. They are they're on top of it right now.
And as Ken alluded to, they're working at it.
Oh, no, there's no doubt. Clay, and both of them live right there at the lake.
Yeah.
But any free time they have, they're idling, they're putting their time in, and they are the 2 hottest right now. I know Derek is fishing the Open. I would imagine, knowing Clay like I do, I'm pretty sure he's going to be in the Open.
Yeah.
So good luck to those guys in the next month or so, getting ready for that.
Right.
Bass Champs and Outlaw Outdoors have both released their 2021 schedules. Outlaw released their new schedule today for their Super 16 and their team circuit. Bass Champs released their 2021 schedule last week. So make sure you can go on both websites and check those schedules out and get as everybody's kind of starting to prepare for their 2021 season.
Yeah, upcoming events, as we alluded to, the Central Open, BASS Open on Sam Rayburn, September 10th through the 12th. Sealy Big Bass Splash on Lake Fork is coming up September 18th, 19th, and 20th. And I saw Bob a couple of times, didn't get to actually speak to him. He got back in his truck before I could get to him. When I was over at Rayburn, just wanted to say hello to Bob Seeley. The Cowboy Division of the BFL will have its Super Tournament, 2-day championship on Rayburn, September 26th and 27th. And again, the ABA, all we have left for ABA is the 2-day championship on Lake Texoma. It's I think it's the 12th and 13th, that same weekend as the Open, and 11th and 12th. Yeah,
correct.
11th and 12th. So, but anyway,
want to say thanks again to our sponsors, the Boat Shop located in Shreveport, Louisiana. It's your one-stop for Garmin units, Yamaha show motor maintenance, and Sea-Arc, a line of Sea-Arc aluminum boats. Then we have 3J's 4-way just right here south of Natchitoches, just off the interstate. I believe it's exit 27, I believe. Yeah, exit 27. So, again, if you're South Louisiana coming up the interstate, take the Natchitoches exit going to Toledo Bend, stop right there just south of Natchitoches at the Flora exit and the Cypress exit, and it's about half mile off the interstate. Pick up all your V&M baits there, get you something to eat on before you head on over to Toledo Bend. And then last but not least, Pride Rods. It's a rod company right here out of East Texas that's just making a great line of rods that, we support locally for a company that's doing a great job. I mean, it's a great blank made by Mr. Gary Loomis, and some really good rods. It really is.
Yeah, and we also want to thank Fish Care Products. They've been a sponsor of the show from day one. We can't thank them enough. They got great products. Use their live well treatment this weekend. My fish, I call it, they all stayed alive. They came in great shape. They were healthy. And if you're looking for a great product, the Fish Care product line. They also got live well cleaner right here. That's another great product for your live wells.
And their fish clips.
And their fish clips. The fish
is where
clips
it's
are
at.
also dynamic as well. And and again, guys, it's hot, okay? Be careful. It's mid-August. Hot weather's not going to be over for at least probably another month. We could have us from 100-degree days all the way till mid-September. So take precaution. Be out there on the water. Wear your sunscreen. Wear your protection. Wear your wide brim hats. I've got a product I'm going to introduce to you in the next couple of weeks on Tip of the Week that I think you'll really like. It's a product that I used this past weekend, and it's incredible to help keeping you cool on the water. I was really excited. First time I'd ever used it, and it's just a great product. But you'll have to watch Tackle Talk Live Tip of the Week in order to find out what that product is. But anything else, Kevin?
No, I again want to thank Mr. Ken for coming on. If you haven't checked out his YouTube series, as he alluded to, he has a new video series coming out this week on different boat brands. So check him out, and I want to sure appreciate him coming on today and kind of giving us his insight on everything going on Sam Rayburn.
Right, and we are looking for sponsors. If you want to sponsor the program, well, we'd love to have you, whether it's product, monetary, whatever. We'll work with you any way we can, and but we'd love to have you. Contact us through our Facebook page. Just message us, and we'll get back to you. We'll send you a packet, and all the information will be there. I think you'll find it's very rewarding for you. We'll make sure of that. But anyway, that's going to wrap us up. And once again, if you want to continue to catch more fish and be a better angler, you got to watch Tackle Talk Live. Hey guys, Tackle Talk Live Tip of the Week. I want to talk to you today about hand protection. The one thing that I've never been able to wear is a pair of gloves, especially in the wintertime, the cotton gloves. You have no feel, they get wet, your hands get cold. I mean, it's just, I've never found the right pair of gloves that I could wear winter or summer. Well, until now. Mustang Survival has a pair of gloves that I really like, and I've started using them really last year when I really started wearing gloves every once in a while on my tournament days and practice days. This is called Traction. And again, Mustang Survival makes these. They're open finger gloves. They got great padding, great grip. When you're reeling your reel, you got great feel with these gloves. They're thin. They're also UV protective for your hands, the back of your hands. I know as anglers, we get a lot of those spots, blemishes on the back of our hands because the sun and they're exposed. Even though we're supposed to use sunscreen, with these, you don't have to use sunscreen. They already got it built in. So, but if you're looking for just a great pair of gloves that protect your hands from not only the elements, but those treble hooks as well that we all tend to get in our hands or our fingers every once in a while, make sure you wear a pair of gloves. There's other brands out there. Here's a brand called Buff. It's a good brand. It's also a good pair of gloves. They also got good grip, good feel, and also UV protective. So whatever brand you like, that's up to you. Chevrolet, Ford, whatever it is. But feel free to check them out. Be a great Father's Day gift, birthday gift, Christmas gift for your dad or your favorite angler. So make sure you check them out. Try a pair of gloves. I think you'll like them, from either Mustang or Buff, either one. That's this week's Tackle Talk Live tip of the week.